Hey you guys. So this is Thoughts with Queen T, and my thought or topic for today is going to be on this concept of timelines. And so what I mean by this is, I think for a lot of us, we've been told or feel like by certain times in our life we have to be doing this sort of thing. So, you know, maybe you have to get married by this age. Maybe you have to, have a kid by this age. Maybe, you have to be at this position in your job by this age. You have to be doing these sorts of things at different times in your life. And I feel like as you understand who you are and what you want, you just kind of need to be like, have the rhythm that you need. Kind of beat your own drum, do your own thing. Because as you start, because I used to stress about the timeline. Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not where I'm supposed to be by this time? And I think everyone's time is very different. There are some who get that opportunity of maybe being in management a little bit sooner. There's some who get married at whatever age. There's, like everyone's life is very different and you cannot compare. You cannot compare your life and your timeline to somebody else's timeline because everyone's experiences and opportunities are a little bit different. So if you want to look at it from the perspective of a professional career, let's say we have our pretty much the same timeline. I think for a lot of individuals, we go to elementary school, middle school, high school. Did we finish high school? Then you can still get your GED, but then from high school, do you go to college or do you work? Some take the route of working, some go straight to college. There is no right way. I have seen individuals who wait years and go to college. I've seen people who have waited until like their 40s and go to college. I've seen individuals who work, X number of years and just continue working because that's just been the life. Every situation is very different. And when it comes to, let's say the high school situation, how I said maybe, if you didn't finish high school, you could get your GED. Some don't even, some may not get their GED until later. And that's an option as well. There are things that come about to where you may not be able to finish that experience and you then have to find the other opportunity to keep to maybe catch that. It really depends on what is your goal and what is it that you want. And I think even for some where it's I want a management position or I want to start my own company. I want to do XYZ. There may be internal, maybe conflict where is there self-doubt or is there something physically holding you back? What I mean by that is sometimes I think there can be, not doubt, but you have maybe opinions from others where, oh, it's not going to work out or maybe the market's not where it's supposed to be or, oh, that's not a smart idea, what have you. And if it's somebody in your life kind of saying that, and if you've done the research, kind of seen, hey, this could work, then that's something where, like, you need to let it go. You need to kind of drown out their opinion unless what they have to say is like very valuable where, hey, market's not really doing very well, maybe wait a bit. Like they're still supportive, but they're telling you to wait a little. I think a lot of us can tell what is helpful criticism and what is not helpful criticism. So if the opinion sounds unhelpful, negative, that's something that you can determine and that you know. But if it's something where it's just helpful criticism and they are still very positive and they want you to succeed, that's a different conversation. But we have a lot of self-doubt, and if there is something that feels like it's holding you back, take that leap. If you've done the research and you know it will do well, do it. Nothing, it won't hurt to try. Now, if it's something in regards to, like, let's say relationships, because I think that one is a big one in regards to timeline, where some want to get married by this age, some want to have, a family, kids. I think that's the biggest one. Children is always the, I think, trickiest one, because for women there is kind of a timeline. However, we have seen some women wait until years like that we maybe thought wasn't possible to have children. So there is that possibility, but it really just depends on your body and what it is that you want. Some don't want kids, so it really doesn't matter. But kids is one of those tricky parts where, if you want that, then yeah, you've got to have all these other things. But like I said, there are other options when it comes to adoption, when it comes to freezing your eggs. You don't even have to do some of those things with a partner. If you wanted to just do them yourself, there is that option as well. But, a lot of women, and I think people who are married and want to have a family, they are waiting a little later to make sure, hey, do we have our finances in order? Do we have everything that we need? And kind of making sure they have that stability. But when it comes to the relationship piece, when it comes to, when is the right time to get married? What does that look like? Again, each experience is going to be very different. You will have some who date in high school and maybe they get married, during those like early 20 years, because they know, hey, this is my partner, this is who I want. For some, they date in high school, maybe it doesn't work out once they start going to college, and they move on. For some, you may not date in high school. You may not date in college. You may wait until after college to start dating. And even then, maybe, I think some women and some, individuals are very confident in who they are and really enjoy their independence. So it has become very difficult, I think, for some aspects, because you kind of want it, but you also enjoy, whether it's doing things on your own, doing things with your friends. You don't really need that whole relationship aspect. Again, it really depends on what it is that you want. Personally, for me, if you want like my life experience, what I kind of went through, I didn't date in high school, I didn't date in college. I was more focused on kind of going to college when I was in high school, and I was more focused on achieving my goals, getting to where I needed, where do I want to be, settling down after I was done with college, like making sure all of that was in order, getting to where I needed to be. I also knew there was still a lot of growth I needed to do. And I think that's always the part of it too, is you need to make sure that you have yourself taken care of before kind of bringing somebody else in. Like, for myself, I think there were still things like, with my confidence, with a lot of things, like I didn't have enough self-love. And so when I would date, I felt like this isn't fair. So I would not date for a good period of time until I knew I kind of had all of that figured out and kind of where I wanted to be. But again, I was also very confident in not being alone, but like having my independence. Um, I really was used to doing a lot of things on my own. I'm an only child. And so, you know, I just was like, yeah, if I find somebody, great. If I don't, I don't. Um, and even in regards to marriage, I think it does hurt when people ask, because you know by the tone, like, oh, well, why hasn't that happened yet? And it's like, because like I just don't, you just don't want it, like it's not the time yet. Like, you will have people who date for 7 years, you will have people who date for 10 years, you will have people who are engaged for 3 years. Like, I highly recommend, so if you're really into like Disney or travel content, please watch PC Dev. I'll also like post his channel too if you want to watch them. But like him and his fiance Bianca, I watch a lot of their videos and they talk about their relationship. Because I do agree a lot with their points. Like, they have been engaged for almost 3 years now. And people will constantly ask, like, oh, when are you getting married? And it's not hurtful by any means. Like, there's no problem in asking. But I think sometimes you can tell, especially when it comes to family members, like, when are you getting married? Like, it's the way they say it. And, you know, each relationship is very different. I truly don't believe in the whole timeline. I really don't. Because you will have people that just, maybe they know right away. Maybe they're just like, yep, that our situation's good. You have people where, you know, like, the situation's good, but they want to make sure, like, everything is good. Like, do we have all of our finances in place? Do we have everything that we need? Like, is this really where we want to be? Like, making sure things are very much aligned to make sure, hey, this is the life that we want. And you also have those where they're still trying to figure things out. You have people who may not be in relationships where I'm just trying to figure out, life itself. Because once you're out of college, your experiences are going to change like nobody's business. Like, you are trying to figure out just adult life in general. And so that is its own maze itself. So take it from somebody who has done the comparing where it's like, oh my God, am I not where I'm supposed to be? You could be like, let's say 55, you could be 42, you could be 18, whatever age. You may have a life pictured for yourself, but maybe you want to do something different. Your timeline does not have to be exact. Like, you can choose what you really want to do. It really depends on you. So I don't like to do the whole comparing thing. Every person's life is very different, and how you go about achieving your goals and wanting to do those things, that's up to you. You have to examine what you want and how you want to go about it. And don't like listen to everyone else's commentary and what they have to say. So that is my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts down below on what you think, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.